Hey guys, I'm back again. So we already have, let me just check. Okay, the routing, everything is working. Let's open the DevTools just to have it open, and let's just move, is this one, okay, to the AddPost. So here we're going to define the functionality of adding or creating a post. So let's remove all this and let's add a form here, a form, not from, but form, okay. Then we're going to say v on submit to define the submit event, which is going to be this function, which is going to be called, create post. Okay, so we just define that there. We're going to work in a little bit inside this export. Okay, let's just define the markup first, all the HTML, and move to the rest. So this is just a paragraph. So let me just copy that. This is something pretty simple. Okay, let me just make this bigger. Okay, so continue. I will just copy all these divs because these are just labels and inputs. Let's paste that. So nothing new here. Well, of course, we have the B model, which is going to add the information from this title. I am in the correct area. Okay, from this post. You will see this in a second. Let's just keep this in mind, the B model with the new post title, which is still not defined here. So we will talk a little bit in a second. This is kinda the modeling that we use in Angular, something similar for the forms, reactive forms. So let's just save that. We have another one, another div with form control. Inside it has a label and a text area with the B model. Okay, creates a two-way binding, yeah, so we can have the information of the content and we can update what we will have soon in the data here. We will see that in a second, don't worry too much, we will get there. And after that, this is the div about the file, an input file, id cover, v on change. We're going to define a new function which is going to be on change, okay, and it's going to be called handle file. So the last one is going to be the input. I'm just going to make this a little faster, copying that instead of typing, and I will explain as I go. Okay, so this is the form. Let's save this and let's see if we have sorry, not new post. Do I have a new post there? What does this? Oh yeah. Sorry, I just need to set the rest of the information here. So okay, as I said before in the last video, we are going to use the methods inside this default, this export default, but remember we have a config which has our functions. This is kind of service, not really, but yeah. So we're going to say import Firebase from that Firebase, and we say config. Okay, so this is going to allow us to have the Firebase class, which is being exported from the config. Okay, so now we define the data, which is going to allow us to I think it says no, it's going to allow us to work with these bindings and everything we set inside this data. We are going to be able to use it inside the template. So let's say return. We always need to say return here. and this is an object. So in this case, it's just going to be this new post, and it's going to have this title. So all this is going to be kinda something like React. We define kinda the state of the first part, and for example, the title is going to be first an empty string, okay, and this is going to be the content, also an empty string, as well as the cover. Okay, so that is it, and it's going to be inside this new post. That's why I have the new post with the corresponding except for this one, with the corresponding property. Okay, so let's save this, and it should complain about the yeah, Firebase is defined but never used. Okay, this is because the ESLint is working, and this is, as I said, is pretty annoying to deal with, but well, this is how you would usually work. Let's define some methods. Here you can see it allows us to say this keyword. So inside here we're going to define some methods that we're going to use. For example, this handle file and this create post. Okay, so let's do that. So let's say async create post. So this is the function which is going to be called when we submit the form. Event that prevent default to not refresh the page when we submit, and let's say let URL equals to await. So we need to do something first. Remember that we have inside this config a function that is called handle file upload. So we will first upload the file and then get the URL of that file, which is being responded or returned inside this d variable. You can see this return d, and this is the download URL, the reference of the file inside Firebase. So we first need to get that file. So let's say Firebase that. So you can see we have the functions. So handle file upload, and it's going to be this that new post that cover. We still don't have that. It's going to be defined using the handle file, but we will do that in a second. The next thing is let file ref. We get the reference of the file using await Firebase that storage. So we use the storage, and ref from URL. So we need to get actually the reference from that URL that is being downloaded here inside this handle file upload. So we get the string that we require in order to get the image. Let underscore new post is the variable that we're going to set, which is going to be an object, and it's going to have this title, which is going to be this new post that title. Then we do the same with the content, this that new post that content, and for the cover we say URL, which is the URL here, and we need the reference or the name of the file, so we are able to remove it. So file ref is going to be file ref that location that path. So that should give us the, so this is the URL and this is the name of the file. We need this in order to delete the file, as we are doing here inside this delete. Well, not that one, but this one. This is the file ref, which is going to be passed. Okay, it's essentially just the name. So the next thing is inside this same function we are going to say Firebase that create post. So this is the create post inside the config inside the Firebase class, and it's going to have this new post, or it's going to receive this new post. Then we're going to say this that router. This is how we're going to get the global router. In order to redirect, we're going to say push, and this is something odd, we're going to say name and the name of the section that we want to go, or the name of the component. So we are going to go to main, and this has a catch. In case there is an error, we're going to say console.log only error. Okay, so this is just a simple catch on which we're just going to console the error. We're not going to worry about anything else. And this is actually the end of that part. So as we can see, this is the create, but we still need to handle the file, which is kinda we're going to set the cover, because you can see we're using the where is it? Well, let's just define it and we will see in a second. So let's say handle file. This is a function with an event which is not being used anyways. So this that new post that cover equals to event that target that files. This is the file list, and we're going to get the first of that file. So when we click this on change, it's going to run the handle file, which is going to set the cover to the target, to the file list, the first item in the file list of the target, which is the input type file. So okay, so yeah, we're using that here. So remember, so we are first going to trigger this when we click. So let's save that and let's actually go there. Let's just do this. Let me just move this a second and say, okay, it opens there. I think I'm going to open there. I have a ton of crap, so I'm just going to open it on my other screen. So I haven't cleaned that shit. It looks like you're using, okay, we will check that in a second. So it's because we're importing everything, and it says it wants us to import only Firebase, only the package from Firebase. So yeah, in a second. So okay, so this is the form with the title and all that. So let's actually give me a second. So just to recap a little bit, you can see we're using this new post title using the beam model, which allows us to create a binding. So when the component first gets mounted, we set the title, content, and cover to be these empty strings, which is being passed to the values of the text area and content, and also the file. Okay, so those are connected, and once we type or we change the values inside these inputs, it's going to redefine the values inside this object on each property it has. Okay, so let me just add a new one, and just to see how that goes. I'm not going to risk with anything here. I have a ton of crap, literally a ton of crap there. So let's say my first post. This is my first post, and create post. You can see it says I think it's going to say that it's not we don't have the permissions. Okay, so give me a second. I forgot that last time. So that 403 error is because we don't have the permissions inside Firebase to add the file. But give me just a second. I'm opening that on my other screen. Just a second, guys. Sorry about this. So it's this one. Okay, and we are here. Okay, so let's go to storage, and it's because I think it has authentication. So let's go to rules and allow read write. It should be like this. Publish. Okay, and let me just go to database. Do we have something here? Nope, not yet. Okay, so all this should work, and let's say create post again. You can see it says 0 to 100. It redirects us to this main route, and let's just check it out. Give it a second, and we have this post, and you can see we have the file ref, which is this should be the name that Firebase is using to reference the file. So this is what we need in order to delete, and you can see the cover is actually the HTTPS on which Firebase is allowing us to see the image. Okay, so let's say a new post. Let me just add another one. I'm just going to select a new image and add another one. Give me a second, guys. This is a GIF. Nope. And I have a ton of crap. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I just since I'm practicing some drawings and all that, I have a ton of things. If in case you know how to draw and that, you kind of know what I have. Okay, I have a leaf here. Open. Let's say a yellow leaf. Sorry, and I have all that crap there. It's easier for me to just have it there. So yeah, this is a leaf in a yellow background, something like that. And we say create post. You can see this is the percentage actually, so you can see how it's triggering. And concat promise avoid the redundant. Yeah, it's redirecting me. It kind of did that twice. I think I know why. Let's just check this out. Yeah. Sometimes seems my mouse is not working correctly, but sometimes it just double clicks. Okay, and is going to do the action twice. Okay, so that is a problem. We don't want to have two of the same. Okay, so that's why it says avoided redundant navigation to current location main, because every function or every set of that function, this one, is going to redirect us to main. So we were actually inside main, and this is something that Vue does. I can't remember if Angular and React, but I think they should, or they do. It avoids us to navigate or to redirect or refresh the page if we are already there. Okay, but we can do refresh the page if we want. So let's check it out. Give me a second. So that is something that, let me just add a reminder. Stop the function when one action is being triggered. So we're going to come back here later to fix all this, and I think that should be all for this part. So we'll see you in the next one.